we talked, you mentioned that you learned that you didn't work hard enough in the UK compared to the United States just because of the different elements of training and sparring. I'm curious, why did you feel the need to leave the United States and choose Ben Davison as the trainer change?
Oh, like if I'm saying that there's something better over in the States, why would I come back?
Right.
Yeah. Well, I live in the UK. That's the first thing. I'm based here. So 3 fights this year would have meant I would have been out of the UK for 10 months, 11 months. So I got a lot of information from the States, and I'm also using it in this training camp now. I'm not disregarding what I've learned. Been a great learning tool for me. And I had every intention to go back, but circumstances presented themselves where this fight, we were just training really, ticking over, and this fight presented itself last minute, and I was like, okay, good thing I'm in the gym. Let's just continue what we're doing and progressing. So it wasn't like, I'm done with my learning in America. It was like the situation I found myself in was it's best to stay put, take what I've learned from the States and integrate it into the UK system and level up again. So this is where I'm at. No complaining, no excuses. I'm completely ready for another day in the ring.
Those are the words of Anthony Joshua as he responds to why he decided to stay in the UK as opposed to come back over here where he boasted so much and bragged on the USA and how they train harder over here than in the UK. And it was shout out to whoever the interviewer was. You know, that's a great question to ask AJ because a lot of people wasn't asking those type of questions to AJ, you know. And the way he responded, it was okay. I would give it a C+, okay, as opposed to that. He did let people know that he has terms or has plans to go back. Now, we can only assume he's mentioning Derek James, okay, because that's who he was training with the last 2 fights, okay, the fight against Jermaine Franklin and, of course, it's supposed to have been Dillian White, which was changed to Robert Helenius. So the span of 3 particular fighters he was preparing for in the USA, okay, at Derek James' gym. So we can only assume he was talking about him. Now, the reason why I give that response a C+ is because to be transparent in these interviews, I think is better. And then I think with AJ, we haven't seen total transparency. We've heard kind of riddles and kind of slick ways of saying or cool ways of saying something that is not clear on what the hell you're really talking about. But, you know, so you have to do some assuming, you have to make an assumption that, okay, well, he's going back. But he did say that he's learning what he learned in the USA. He's not disregarding it. He was already at Ben Davison's gym and he just decided to stay there. And I think, you know, me counterpunching the whole decision to stay in the UK, I heard, if you listen to what he said, it was, oh, well, I'd have been there 10 months. So he's looking at the amount of time that he spent in the USA, and then he lives in the UK. You know what I mean? So, you know, I think that has a lot to do with your comfort zone, your comfort level, you know, as opposed to your training. You know, so you kind of like, okay, comfort level, training, you know what I'm saying? Like that comfort level is a lot, you know, I think it trumps the training or the desire to train and get that hardcore USA training intact. But nonetheless, I think what happened with Ben Davison, you know, was a trainer anyway, and I think he pretty much, you know, knew what they were training on, and he had to, by default, you know, share with Ben Davison on what the hell they were actually training on and what, you know, either inside fighting or mid-range to, you know, counterattacks, catch and shoot, those type of things. And I think that's why he was working the bag the way he was working, you know what I mean? And I think Ben Davison was like, okay, fair enough. You know, we can work with that. And I think at the same time he put in a little bit of his own, instruction in there too. So why not? Especially when he got the green light, to train AJ on through this time, because that was last minute. Okay, this day of reckoning is nothing that was, stretching from the course. And in fact, I think if it was, it probably wouldn't have worked. I think a lot of these fighters, if it wasn't something like, hey, you want to do this? Yes or no, yay or nay. I think if it wasn't like that, a lot of these fighters would really procrastinate themselves out of the whole situation. So I am glad that it was quick, because we'll look at what they accomplished. So in less than a week, we have, or actually, less than a week now, because it's Sunday, we have the biggest heavyweight boxing event on the planet, probably ever. That's just like seeing Muhammad Ali fight Joe Frazier, Ken Norton fighting George Foreman, Sonny Liston fighting Ernie Shavers. You know what I mean? This is a huge event. And I'm glad AJ does respond to the training camp not being in the USA, because, of course, it's one thing to praise someone while you're with them, but it's another thing to, not praise them when you're away. And I think that's the criticism he gets, because if you notice, he didn't say Derek James's name at all. You know what I mean? So that's the thing, if it was that, to me, okay, if it was that copacetic, I think he would have been like, oh man, Derek James, shout out to Derek James. I appreciate everything you do. I'll see you soon. Those type of things, I think, and I feel, should have been said, and they weren't. So it does make you kind of suspicious on how, and what's really going on, between AJ and Derek James. But anyway, you guys tell me what you think of Anthony Joshua responding to not continuing his training camp in the USA and staying in the UK. Of course, please subscribe. And you guys been Counterpunched. Peace.